Hey there, I'm Adrienne, your go-to guide on this empowering journey to self-love and authenticity. I've transformed my own struggles into strengths, and now I help others navigate their path to their inner knowing and create personal fulfillment. On this show, we're not shying away from tough conversations. We're diving headfirst into topics like self-worth, overcoming limiting beliefs, challenging societal norms, and creating a life that's not just successful, but truly fulfilling. We're all about blending heartfelt, soul-searching chats with practical, actionable strategies. Think of this podcast as your trusty compass on the path to your most authentic life, mixed with a cozy fireside chat with a dear friend. Ready to uncover your true self and lead a life that's in sync with your deepest desires? You're in the right place, friend. Welcome to the Live Your Truth, Love Your Life podcast. Hey there, Adrienne here, welcoming you back to Live Your Truth, Love Your Life. I wanted to start out by mentioning that the podcast will be released on Mondays only moving forward. So we've been on a Monday-Thursday release schedule, but moving forward, it's just going to be Mondays. I may go back to 2 episodes each week, but for now, my mantra is simplify to amplify. I'm working on some new projects to include new workshops, a digital course, and a group coaching program. By doing 1 episode each week, I can go deeper with the content, promotion, and make room for what's coming. So today's episode is all about embracing simplicity in our aspirations. Our episode, Ease into Success, Simplify Your Goals, is here to remind us that sometimes the best approach is to let things be easy. Let's face it, we often put so much pressure on ourselves with sky-high expectations that we end up feeling overwhelmed. It's like we're trying to sprint before we can walk. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking your potential could be as simple as taking a step back and simplifying your goals? We all have aspirations, and that's great. Ambition drives us forward. But when the pressure and expectations we set for ourselves start freezing us in our tracks, it's time to reassess. It's not about lowering our standards, but about finding a more accessible starting point. I'm talking about this because this recently came up for me. I was planning out a new weekly workshop, and I wanted to use a new platform and new software to reach more people and up the production value. I got the content laid out, and I was so excited about bringing this to the world. But then I had my date set, and I pushed it off to next week. That next week rolled around, and I pushed it off again. Finally, I met with my coach, and I told her, something is going on with this because I'm pushing it, and I don't really know why. I just know when it's time to do it, I don't want to. So I push it. My initial inclination as to why I was avoiding it turned out to be very different than what we arrived at by the end of the session. I thought I was uncomfortable with it being live, which seemed odd because I do live Zoom workshops and I do live calls with group coaching and my book club. But after we talked it through, I realized that I was overwhelmed. I wanted to use a different platform, different software, have the workshop be longer than ones I usually host, and all of that together just felt like a lot. It's never easy to test drive a new workshop, just content-wise, let alone do it with completely new tech. So we talked about ways that I can chunk this down and get it into the world. Maybe I try shorter content using the new tech, something low pressure, short, and if it doesn't work the way I wanted, I can make adjustments before hosting the full workshop. It sounds simple, but sometimes the obvious thing is something we can't see until we walk through it with someone else. I was overcomplicating things. I was wanting to use this software and platform to increase the quality of the production, which is great, but I don't have to go with a 90-minute brand new workshop out the gate to make the transition. So I broke down what I can do right now that will make this easier. And then as I get more comfortable with the tech and I've test driven some of the workshop content, I can put the pieces together and put that big offer out into the world. It got me thinking that if I do this without realizing it, making this big plan, this new goal, and then freezing up a little bit, I can't be the only one, right? I have broken down so many projects into small steps. That's how I did my website, and that's how I created this podcast. But for some reason, I wasn't doing it with this new idea. And I was overwhelming myself unnecessarily. If you find yourself with a goal that you keep putting off, ask yourself, how can I ease the pressure? How can I make this goal more manageable? The answer lies in breaking them down into smaller, achievable steps. Quick wins are not just victories, they're momentum builders. They're the stepping stones to larger achievements. So here's a thought. Instead of fixating on the end goal, focus on what you can achieve today. Ask yourself, how can I simplify this task? What's one thing I can do right now that will take me closer to my goal? It's about making progress, no matter how small. Every big accomplishment is a series of small victories. By simplifying your approach and celebrating each step, you're not just moving towards your goal, you're building confidence and momentum. We always think about confidence as this thing that's out there, outside of us. But confidence comes from the small wins. You stack them up and you feel better about yourself, about the thing that you're working on, the thing that you're trying to achieve. Once you start racking up those wins, you'll find that the bigger, scarier goals aren't so intimidating after all. So, take a deep breath, let go of the overwhelming pressure, and embrace simplicity. Allow yourself the space to grow and succeed at your own pace. You'll be amazed at how much more you can achieve when you let it be easy. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you found this helpful. Keep in mind that success doesn't always have to be a struggle. Sometimes the easiest path is the most effective. Until next time, live your truth, love your life. That's it for today's episode, my friends. Thanks so much for joining me on the Live Your Truth, Love Your Life podcast. To get even more out of today's conversation, don't forget to swing by the show notes and download your freebie. Want to keep the conversation going? I'd love to hear what spoke to you most today. Head on over to my Instagram at Live Your Truth, Love Your Life and drop me a comment. I'm always excited to connect and learn more about you. Remember, the journey towards living your truth and loving your life is a rewarding one. New episodes are dropping each Monday and Thursday, and I can't wait for next time. Until then, have a fantastic week.